before it even
No, I agree
leaves
with
the
you.
station.
I just like the whole like not going to tell you exactly what's happening and like keeping everybody unaware of
It
what is
doesn't really tell you
exactly going
anything
on.
though.
But
But it doesn't tell you anything. Like there's no
mm,
pertinent information that's going on outside of like kind of like the end of episode 2, where you understand that there are things happening on purpose, and then you draw your own conclusions from that. But again, hopefully, what I don't like, and I was talking to my wife about this, is that the one thing that I didn't like is that it seems as though they're going to use an entire quote unquote season of content just to explain
what's happening?
why we're here. And
Mm.
that to me, that's a whole lot of time to explain one plot point, and
They-
that's
They'd be
not
doing
good.
better than Lost. It took them 5 or 6 seasons to
Well,
explain it.
well,
Number one fan.
well.
That's
Again,
true.
that's also Mr. Damon Lindelof and JJ. So again, like I don't understand how that is meant to be like a standard that people are actively trying to emulate. But I'm just saying,
The only thing though is that this show is not. I don't think we're gonna see another season of this show. Each show is supposed to be a subsequent, like not season, but like they're all tied together in that way. They'll be telling each story throughout each one of the seasons, starting with this, then going into the Captain America show, then going into the Loki show, and then I don't think there's a fourth one, right? There's not a fourth one that they planned.
no,
This
they're
is
doing
Hawkeye
lots of
show?
shows. Yeah, there's going to be a Hawkeye show.
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk is going to be a show.
But that's not slated now, right? That's slated later.
That's on the docket. In terms of now or later. Marvel's timeline is whatever they set. I mean, they have all the money in the world that if they wanted to start a show right now, if they had to, they could get that thing cast, set up, and ready to go in less than a month. They have
They got the
money.
disposal of Disney's bank account.
Yeah, they have the
to
money
do what
and
they
the
want, so.
resources, and not only that, but they also have the studio space too. They
Yeah.
have the means of production are at their disposal, so they can do it. But it's whatever they want. And again, I don't mean to criticize WandaVision really before knowing the whole situation, because
that's fine.
Kevin Feige has not given me any kind of reason to doubt him in any regard. However, we are in a post-Endgame world, and anything's possible. Even
Sure.
potential quote-unquote failure in the MCU is possible. That's on the table. And I feel I'm hearing the footsteps based on my experience with the first 2 episodes of WandaVision. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, welcome one and all to your number 1 podcast on video games, entertainment, and overall awesomeness with your boys Adam, Genesis, and your boy right here, Giuseppe Jones. This is Crafting a Chat. This is episode 29?
5.
25?
25.
25. Well, jumped the gun a little bit. But episode 25. But, okay, yeah, that's good. Hopefully all of you are doing well out there. Hopefully everything is good and quaint and you're having fun with games and you're having fun in life, and hopefully you are. And if you're not, well, we're praying for you. We got your thoughts and prayers right here. Come and join us for a chat. Drop us a line. Give us your thoughts. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to talk with you. And with that, gentlemen, what have you all been playing this week?
I can go first.
Oh, did we start?
Yes.
We are starting.
Usually-
I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyway,
Genesis, what have you been playing?
I usually go first anyway when I'm playing.
Do it.
I played Detroit. I actually started it, beat it within the week that between last episode and this episode. There was one of the games that I actually missed playing back when it actually first came out, and I was very pleased with the game. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I was hooked on it for I think 3 nights in a row. Adam can tell you. I couldn't stop the story. It was actually really, really fun, and I had a great time with the game. Honestly, it was. I got to the ending that I wanted to get to, and I don't know if I'm going to go back and play anymore because I really enjoyed that ending, and I was like, this is the one I wanted, and this is the one I wanted to do. And
Sure.
the amount of times I had to actually pause because I was going to have like an existential heart attack just looking at something going on the screen because I didn't know what to pick and what to do. I'm like, all right, I need to pause because I need to figure out what I have to do because I don't want to screw this up, and then something happens and then I have to start everything over again. But I had a lot of fun with the game. I started up Horizon because I figured, hey, listen, it's a perfect time to go backlog and finish up games that maybe I once set down and I should have given a second or third or fourth or fifth chance or whatever. And I'm going through that now. Played a little bit of COD today, and then otherwise, I think that's it. I was gonna play Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but then I was like, I don't know, that game for some reason doesn't sit with me as well as the Rise of Tomb Raider and the original Tomb Raider. I don't know. The Shadow of the Tomb Raider is just something's weird with it. I look at her face sometimes, and her face looks derpy sometimes. I'm like, why did they make the face model look like this now? I don't understand. She's just staring into space sometimes, and I'm like, she did not look like she was staring into space in the last game, and she definitely didn't look like that in the first game. So I don't know. They got lazy. I don't know. Maybe they just didn't care anymore. They're like, you know what? We'll make a third one. Let's cut it off right there. We're done.
Well, I was going to say, perhaps Lara was suffering from, like, just tired face syndrome that she picked up from Mass Effect Andromeda. I don't know. It's possible.
She could have been. She could have been. I mean, I also got to say the quality of the game took a dip with the third one. The second one I had to say was the best, I think, in terms of quality, like coming from the first, obviously. The first one was like that reboot, and they're like, oh, look, it's brand new.
You had to try hard.
Yeah. But the second one was definitely good and much better in terms of quality. And I enjoyed the second one, actually. But the third, I don't know. I might give it a shot again, but I'm getting back in Horizon and that theme song. Oh, boy.
So good.
Oh,
Yep.
boy.
Definitely.
Adam,
definitely should get
what you playing?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, nothing. I've mostly watched you play stuff. I was there through a lot of the Detroit. Yeah, very cool. I was there for a lot of the Detroit stuff. A lot of your heart attacks. A lot of the times I'm like, I'm not telling you what to do here. I'm gonna let you panic, but then you pause and like look it up.
Aw.
So that was fun.
Well, that kind of ruins a little bit of the experience.
No,
Because it's not really about getting things
I had to
right.
reach an ending. I had to reach that specific one. I was like, I'm not going to do this unless I reach that ending.
Wait. So
Yeah.
you had a specific ending in mind, and you had to get that.
Yes.
Everybody had to be alive. Everybody had to be alive.
Okay.
So some people prefer playing games that way. I with Detroit, I kind of as you know, my mom watched me play for the first half of the game,
Yeah.
and then her schedule just was annoying, and I was like, I'm just going to continue playing it myself. And then I just started looking stuff up too. But when she was watching me, I was kind of having her decide or like me decide
Right.
because I didn't care. But then I was like, well, I want trophies, and I didn't really care for the story of the game all that much. It was very cliche.
I love the story. I had no problem with the story, but
It's well acted. It's all right, but it's just it really hammers in the the themes a little too much.
It's very overt.
Yes, a little too much for me, but
yeah,
I still liked it. There are moments I really like in that game. Also, I forgot how good the music was in that game. That's also very good music.
It is. Definitely.
But yeah, I didn't really play anything this week. It's just kind of like a week for me, like in a personal way. Mostly like work stuff, but nothing like
You're really
actually
angry.
like feel bad. I'm not angry. I'm a very happy person. You piece of.
Awesome.
Anyways, we played Uncharted multiplayer the other day.
That's right, which was a
That's
pretty
what I
good
forgot.
time.
Yeah, I knew you would forget it because you always forget the multiplayer stuff, which is sucky for some reason. But we played a bunch of that. We did real bad, and then we did real good, and then we did okay. So
Yeah.
it was fun. I'd be down to do it again.
Sure.
So, but that's all I've played. Steffi, what have you played?
Yeah, again, a little bit of that Uncharted multiplayer, but honestly, this whole past week was very, very intensely focused on playing Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. So I've had a particular style of a video game on my mind recently, not just for playing, but also for productivity, as I am trying to write a video game. I'm in the very initial stages of doing so right now. So I've had that particular genre on my brain, and I've been really enjoying my time with Bloodstained. It's a really fine presentation, fairly sharp controls. I love the exploration aspects of it. I like the light puzzle fare to it in terms of manipulating the map or trying to discover secret passages and what have you. Again, very typical of that genre of game. But I'm enjoying it. It's challenging in spurts, but really, just like any other Metroidvania game, it's a game that rewards dedication and endurance. As long as you stick with it and you try different paths or you experiment with the environment, it's going to reward you. And those it's nice to still have games like that, as opposed to you get into a level, and regardless of what style of game it is, you get into a level and there's a lot of space for you to explore, whether it's 2D or 3D. But the space that's there is not very interesting. It's a lot of dead space. It's a lot of empty space. And you feel like you want to explore every nook and cranny, because the hope is that you're going to find something that, it's something that, I could have easily missed, or something that I might need later on, or something valuable for my build. And then you ultimately don't find anything. It's just more level. And it's just like, okay, well, this was kind of like a wasted design element here. And then you move on. But it's nice to see games that reward exploration, meticulousness, experimentation, and Bloodstained does a real fine job at it. And I would highly recommend it. Even though it's a little old, a couple years, but it's a great looking game. It's a great sounding game. I wouldn't necessarily say that its musical score, its soundtrack, is the best of Metroidvania games. They're definitely better, and I'm not just talking about for the classics. I'm talking about for like recent, like Ori and the Blind Forest. Like I would say that some of the music happening in there is superior than Bloodstained, but still a fine game. I enjoyed it a lot, and that's really what I've been playing this week.
Cool.
Cool.
Oh, you want to go from Metroidvania to Metroidvania?
Well, hold on 1 second. We actually got a question from a Village Origins. Welcome, Village.
Okay.
It's in
Village.
Village Origins. A very interesting question, and I don't know exactly how to answer this. So I'll just pose it. Put it to the panel. Who would win in a fight, the country of Israel or Bowser?
Gotta say,
I don't understand.
Listen, Bowser's a giant turtle dinosaur hybrid who can breathe fire, so he's actually part dragon, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, if you try and if the only way they're gonna kill him is if they nuke him, right?
Well, now you bring up a great point there. What I was gonna say is like, how much is it just Bowser going to be Bowser transplanted into the real world, or is it going to be Israel transplanted into Bowser world? But either way, how much of a lineage is Bowser having with, say, like a giant dinosaur like Godzilla? Because if that's the case, then he's immune to nukes. He's immune to radiation and that kind of intense energy.
No, that's a good point.
Release.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? I would say it's possible because again, Bowser is a giant dinosaur type creature. So I'd say that it's possible that nukes are irrelevant to him. It's possible.
I mean, I got an easy answer, guys.
What's the easy answer?
Very easy answer. Israel's real, and they have Wonder Woman. Bowser and Mario.
Well,
Mario's
she's
just a tiny Italian plumber, and he defeats Bowser all the time. Like, Israel's gonna have no problem. You know how many people they have jumping on heads over there? Like, they'll be fine. They're Netanyahu. He could probably take them out.
I don't know.
But that guy doing something that's doing something himself, I doubt it. But
I don't know if Benjamin is
as
spry. I don't know if Benjamin is as spry as Mario. I mean, I'm sure he could do it. Like if he had one of those, those booster boots from the Super Mario Brothers movie to assist in his jumping. It's possible, but I don't know if he'd be able to do that naturally. I'm just saying.
I'm going Israel. That's what I'm going. Because I just one Italian plumber takes out Bowser. I just don't respect him. You know what I mean? Also, Dennis Hopper played Bowser in the movie, and he's dead now. So that's point down on Bowser right there.
Yeah,
Israel,
point.
they require military service for 2 years when you're there.
That's
Just saying.
true.
They also have Wonder Woman.
They also have. I mean, that's already been brought up.
Fantastic. All right. Well, with that, who wants to go first in terms of like their little segment for this evening? Who would like to go first? Well, I can't go first because I need for you both to. Well, I can go first. I do need both of you to have books ready to answer.
All right.
yes.
Well, here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna mix it up this week.
I just gave you a book. Genesis, walk forward. There's your book.
Mix it up.
all right,
Let's do it.
right.
You want to mix it up? You want to go first, like you did that one time and then complained?
Aw.
You know I'm staring right at you, even though my
you're not.
character's looking straight forward.
Oh my.
No, I just turned right to you. You know what I did. You know what I did. You felt it.
Side eye.
All right.
I'm eating.
I'm gonna do rumors and leaks now.
Do it. Let's
since
do
we
it.
always do that last. So, I got some whispers from the internet this week. A couple of weird ones here. I'm gonna start with one of them here. So, remember how one of the weeks prior I talked about a studio, whether it was I believe Naughty Dog or a subsidiary of Naughty Dog or something. Somebody was making an Uncharted game that had to do with Sully, things like that.
Right.
Apparently, that studio has been changed or disbanded, or that division of the studio has been changed or disbanded. According to one of the rumors here, one of the concept artists, his name is Hyung Nam, has shared a couple of concept arts for the next Naughty Dog game. It is a fantasy game, actually. It's a very highly fantasy-based game. I wish I had some way of putting this screenshot up, but one of these days I'll figure out how to do things like that.
One day you can just send the link of what you're looking at to us. We have a group chat.
That's true.
Yeah, that's too much work.
If only you were the tech guy of the group.
Post it in Twitch. Post the link in
Okay.
Twitch.
I will forward this to you real quick. But while I'm doing that,
His headphones fall off? Did he uncheck his headphones? What happened?
Didn't fall off.
Are you on your
Speaker.
controller?
better.
For a moment.
The actual screenshot looks like what's his name from Witcher 3? Geralt?
Uh-huh.
Geralt?
Yeah.
Yep.
Geralt.
Sitting on top of a severed dragon head. That is their concept art for the next game that they have.
So it's more Witcher.
I don't know. It's what do you call it? Naughty Dog making it. So I mean, can you imagine them making a Witcher?
No, because I'm pretty sure
No.
CD Projekt has those rights. So.
I think he means like a Witcher-like. Not like
A Witcher-like. A Witcher-like.
Yeah, not
It's
Witcher.
Not actually Witcher. Witcher-like. I should have clarified that. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily something that. I mean, I'm sure somebody that works at Naughty Dog would probably be interested in making a fantasy game. I don't necessarily think that's in line with the company focus. Just doesn't seem like that's what they're seeking to pursue. Now, that's not to say that they couldn't diversify. I'm sure they can. They have more than enough talented coders and writers and programmers and artists to achieve that. But I just don't think that's. I don't know. I'm gonna sell that rumor. I'm gonna sell that.
Well, considering mostly the things they've
do
done
we buy these?
in recent.
Yeah, buying them or selling them. It's like, do you believe in
selling
them or do you not?
No, I know.
Mostly
Do we do
what they've
that
done
now?
is all realistic things.
Well,
so,
I'm just
I mean,
doing it. I'm just
them
doing it.
going to a fantasy type of setting, I think, would be a nice change of pace for them. Honestly speaking, all they've done is as of recent, is just realistic things. You know, with the Uncharted franchise, and I mean, they didn't have anything to do with the remake of Crash, right?
No, it was
No.
Activision.
Yeah.
Right. All right. But yeah, I sent that finally into the group chat. I just did that. But yeah, that is a.
Oh,
that's what I
absolutely.
have on that one.
I agree. It would be a great way to diversify their portfolio. I don't know if they need to, and I don't know if they want to. But we'll see.
Okay. Sony Santa Monica, this is my next one up. Sony Santa Monica seemingly confirms a second dev team plus new game. I guess this is from a tweet from a hiring link that they have. And people are tying it to Cory Barlog's new IP that supposedly started early development around 2018. It's rumored to be a sci-fi game. That was a couple of tweets he did, not specifically saying, it's a sci-fi game, but that's what they think he's alluding to. Some people think it's Project Internal 7. It's supposed to be an open-world sci-fi shooter with multiple planets that had a Battlestar Galactica writer on board that was too ambitious for PS4. That's apparently what they think it is. Any thoughts on that one?
I don't know, Adam?
Nope.
No.
All right.
Bad rumor. Boring rumor.
A boring rumor.
Yeah, because Santa Monica had like a sci-fi game in development after God of War 3. And then it was really far into development, and then it was canceled. And then they kind of went into... Santa Monica almost died as a studio. And then Cory Barlog pitched his God of War. Sony liked it, they got funding for it, and then it turned out to be a massive hit. So... I mean, it's certainly they have different like studios, like a part of them. Mm-hmm. Like they always worked on smaller things, and a lot of the Sony studios are now splitting up to just because they're becoming bigger, because they're becoming more successful, and Sony's funding them more. So it's good, but at the same time, like there's so much can change. Nothing like this could be nothing, and they would be something. Like it's just too early for me to care.
Sure.
Yeah, I would generally agree with that. Yeah.
I got the next one up.
Cool.
Tyler McVicker, formerly part of Valve News Network. I don't know what they're part of. I think they're a YouTube
really?
channel. I think that's what they are.
Okay.
Apparently talks about Fallout New Vegas 2. He's basically talking about how he's expecting it to release in the later half of this console cycle. Since I guess they're working on, the Elder Scrolls 6, and then whatever Fallout, maybe if there is a possibility of a Fallout 5, he's just basically saying a couple things that he's also said that this is not him pulling anything out of his quote unquote behind. It's just something that he has heard about as of recent, that they're working on something with Fallout New Vegas 2. I know, Adam, I think you had liked Fallout New Vegas a ton. Did you not?
I had a friend who really liked it. I didn't play it. I played Fallout 3, and then I was done with Fallout until Fallout 4 came out.
Oh, okay. I don't know why.
Like my Fallout. I've talked about it, and I know there's like fan demand for a New Vegas 2. I'm curious as who would make it.
I played...
So why Valve?
I don't know. That's just the news network he was part of, so I don't know if he's by himself now. I'm not 100% sure with that.
Okay.
So I put in a ton of hours into New Vegas. Not nearly as much as I did for Fallout 3, but I enjoyed New Vegas a lot. I enjoyed the steps forward that they took from Fallout 3. It'll be interesting to see what they want to do with the story, because as it pertains to these Fallout games, a lot of the story elements that they have going on, even though they have like a much larger arcing story that connects to when the vaults were initially created and then all the world circumstances that led to, nukes taking everything out. The stories that they have going on there are basically like almost fully self-realized, evolved stories per region that they choose. And it'll be interesting to go back to a same region. Presumably, it's going to be later on in the timeline to see what's the condition of the California New Republic versus the Caesar's Legions versus whatever other faction a brand new one might be, or maybe the Brotherhood of Steel has finally gotten to town. I mean, who knows what's going on there? But they're going to have to find a way to reconnect to the people and places that made New Vegas, and that first game really, explored a decent amount of what could possibly happen there. So, I mean, I'd be intrigued to see it because I love New Vegas a lot. I wouldn't necessarily say I loved it like far better than Fallout 3. I would say my love for both is fairly equal. But I'm interested in anyone that makes a good game. So, and that idea has the potential to be a good game.
Yeah, Microsoft owns the people who made New Vegas. So outside of the Bethesda acquisition,
right, outside of
and now
right.
they own the Fallout IP basically.
Yeah.
So it's certainly possible. This was like one of the big things that people were so excited about when Microsoft bought Bethesda. They're like, now Obsidian can make New Vegas. Oh, yay.
Right.
Yeah, it's certainly possible. And then actually looking through this one, this guy seems pretty reliable on Valve stuff. I mean, but I don't know his validity with anything else, but if he's reliable on Valve stuff, I don't think he would just come out with something, say, like, something false.
I mean, he basically
reputation.
wrote in there like, "Hey, I'm not trying to pull something out of nowhere. I'm saying this based on what I know and what I've heard so far." A lot of people were like saying, "Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about and this and that," and it's just honestly just him making things up. And he's like, "No, I'm not really. I'm actually saying what I pretty much speculate is going to happen."
That probably would be the best route for Fallout to take, a direct sequel to a game they already made. Instead of,
I mean, Fallout 5, I don't know how
I don't want
that would be. I don't know how many people do want that, especially after Fallout 4.
No, especially after Fallout 76.
Yeah, the Fallout name is a little different than what it was before Fallout 76 came out.
Yeah,
and I know there are fans for Fallout 76. Good for you guys, but yeah, it's not the type of game for me. But yeah, I think a direct sequel to New Vegas would honestly be the best choice. I don't remember the story too much. I remember it a little bit, but I don't know where they would go. I mean, but something in that world with that IP, I think that would make people pretty. Even a Fallout New Vegas remaster or a 3 remaster.
Yeah, that's
like a lot of people are asking for those remasters to just happen.
Oh yeah, give me a Fallout 3 remaster. If they did a New Vegas remaster, I'd probably go back, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love that. It probably wouldn't come to PlayStation, but I'd love that.
But you know what? Any kind of remaster or anything, that would have to absolutely clean and sweep up every single last one of those glitches and bugs and
Family
crashes.
There's a lot of them.
Glitches and bugs in the Family Show?
No, you said ass.
Oh.
But,
no,
I
it's a donkey. What's wrong with saying a donkey?
Oh,
anyway,
I thought he said every last
tapes.
one of them. I was like, what?
Now, it was before that. Come on.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. Okay. Good.
I was like, I'm going to stop, and I know he's going to stop, and then it's just going to be an awkward silence.
What?
This is the
unlocked.
fluidity that we have in this podcast.
Not bad.
The next one I got here is so you guys remember Lucasfilm's, I think this was last week after our podcast, Lucasfilm's announced that their partnership with EA is done, and Ubisoft is like, hey, we're picking them up, we're going to make a partnership with them, and this and that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There's a rumor, I guess, from Jez Corden of Windows Central podcast. He is talking about how Microsoft is possibly working with Lucasfilm to make 2 Xbox exclusive titles. One would be a Knights of the Old Republic game and maybe a Republic Commando game, since both are pretty big Xbox exclusives back in the day. There's a Twitter post on it, and then a couple other explanations in the thread itself. But them working on, I don't know, any games with Lucasfilms. I mean, the Jedi Fallen Order, didn't Microsoft have the marketing rights to that one for that game because of EA?
I don't know, but you're missing the big one that was announced last week that's Microsoft related. Indiana Jones, that's Lucasfilm Games.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, because
also
they're the ones
Microsoft
working
with
on
Machine Games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that
it's
might
all
be
part of
actually
them.
just one of them. Oh, yeah. Obviously, that's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other one would be something else Star Wars related, or maybe something else related overall. Maybe I have no idea because, although I don't know how I feel about Ubisoft doing all this stuff with Lucasfilms now. I'm prepared to see, more of those Star Wars games go down a path of annihilation.
Personally,
there it is.
I don't I neither have any kind of confidence in Ubisoft at being able to execute a Star Wars license in an effective way. Honestly, I would see any kind of material that went in Ubisoft's direction. They're going to take whatever shape that IP is and cram it into a square hole of microtransactions and pay to win stuff, grindy gameplay, which will just and then just make it be as formulaically similar to their Far Cry games, their Assassin's Creed games, and what have you. And I don't think that's necessarily the way to go with Star Wars. I think anyone who wants to do something good and exciting with Star Wars in terms of a game, they have to be free from those kind of parameters. They have to start with a fresh idea first, and then see how they want to monetize after the fact, outside of the obvious full brand new AAA price for a game. So
I would love a Star Wars game that's kind of got the Ubisoft formula, like taking out towers and stuff. I like that formula quite a bit. So,
well, a lot of people do, but for me, it's played out.
I mean, they also said they're done with those formulas because the guy who forced that is gone because of his behavior.
Yeah, they say a lot of things though.
Was that
Well, yeah, we'll see.
Ashrev or
We'll
something?
see.
Whatever his name was, Ishmael?
Now, he was another dude. The dude you're talking about is Assassin's Creed director.
Oh, thank God.
All right.
Fair enough.
Should have gotten rid of him earlier. That's all I have to say at that point for that. Should have just buried him 6 feet under earlier.
Yikes.
Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I got the next one up here. Give me 1 second.
By the way, that Microsoft one you read in Reddit under the games, leaks, and rumors, it's flagged as misleading. So.
Oh, that's a good call on that. I appreciate
But
it.
Yeah.
is that not
Yeah,
the
well.
inherent nature of rumors though?
No, it's flagged as misleading because of the wording and stuff, because that's not what the dude said. And I didn't look into it because this is not my segment, but I just wanted you to know to do your research, please.
Oh my.
Thanks.
See, you normally do your research throughout the show and then you're ready to go at the end, but now you went first. You ruined it.
That's all right. The next one I got up is a Sonic rumor, apparently. Sonic Unlimited coming 2021 to 2022. Apparently the game's going to be focusing on mythology or lore of hedgehogs and will have an Indiana Jones feeling. It's from 4chan, so I don't know how much I take this. This is whenever there's a tag of 4chan in there, I'm like, all right, cool. They already made a game that's similar to this. It's called Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. Because that was a Indiana Jones type of feeling thing where they tried to give Sonic like an actual I don't know, story to follow, and they're from this planet and this and that, and I'm like, all right, cool. Listen, Sonic's dead. Just leave him dead. Just leave him alone. Let him be dead. All right. You can't do anything for this guy now.
I would say
this is coming
Sonic's more alive now than in the last 20 years.
Sonic is.
Listen.
Yeah, I mean, look at the film. I mean, the film.
No.
is-
Listen.
The
no,
film,
listen.
the games that came out recently, people really
the
like.
games. First of all, the games
Sonic
that came
Mania,
out
whatever?
recently. That's the only one that they like. And Sonic Mania is a 2D. Anything 3D, which the last good 3D game from Sonic, which I can personally attest to because I used to be a big fan of Sonic back in the day, was Sonic Adventure 2. And after that, it's been nothing but a decline. And anytime somebody's asked for Sonic Adventure 3, we just get reminded of Sonic 06, and then everything after that, just garbage on top of garbage. Nothing is good. Besides, his movie is good. It's fine. But it has nothing to do with what the Sonic is that we've seen in the games, and then that Sonic is a different Sonic as well. But the 2D Sonic is the only Sonic that people seem to like. So, what was the Sonic Forces? That was a giant flop, and that was actually so Sonic Mania and that game is actually connected in the terms of story. but Sonic Mania succeeded because of the gameplay being 2D. Nobody likes 3D Sonic anymore ever since Adventure 2 was the last good one that they had. Just let him die. Just let him be dead. That's all I gotta say on that.
I like how games for you, they either like are the best thing ever or they died.
Yeah, pretty much. There's no other distinguishing fact of games. They're the best thing ever or they died. You can't tell me otherwise.
Raised on the internet. Love it.
There it is.
Also, I believe this is coming. Can't wait. I'm very excited. That Indiana Jones game that was announced that's secretly a Sonic game.
All right, so tell me, what middle ground do you give games besides if they're dead or if they're alive or the best thing ever?
What do you mean in terms of like budget, scope, studio?
I don't know. I'm being told I'm the one who has two different grades of either died or it's the best thing ever. So what's in the middle?
Well, the middle is the middle is basically something that is all but extinct in terms of like what the industry puts out, and that is your mid-tier game. The industry itself is not.
I think he's asking what's in the middle of how you should react.
And yep. That's how I'm answering. I'm saying is like the reason why I feel like some people have that binary extreme when it comes to games is because we don't really have a lot of variety in terms of the ambition and scope of a lot of the products that the industry puts out. I would say that if we had a more steady stream of mid-tier games, I think the entire market would be turned on to accepting, 7s and 8s as non-horrible scores. But if anything isn't a 9 or a 10, people somehow see that as an extreme failure and therefore should be dead. I just feel like that there's a connection there. That's just my opinion, though.
I wanted to hear the answer from him instead.
I was trying to process what he just said. I get what you're saying. A little off course, but I get what you're saying. Good opinion, though. I agree with it.
You gave a fine answer. I had no problem. I just want to hear what you have to say.
An opinion is... I don't know. I don't care.
I'm not asking for the definition of an opinion.
No, I mean, your opinion on Sonic should be... If a Sonic game came out and it was good, how would you react?
Is it a 3D game or is it a 2D game?
It's a good game. Let's say 3D. It's actually a good Sonic game, and it's 3D.
I'll buy it.
No, how would you react?
I'd be excited for it. I haven't been excited for a 3D Sonic game in a long time. At all.
Would you say, oh, it's alive again, baby, we're back? Ooh, it's a masterpiece.
I'd say it's alive, but I don't know if I say it's back. I'd say it's alive, but it could die immediately after. Because if they decide to do something stupid, which they have in the past,
interesting,
made something good, and then they immediately right after that follow it up with just a piece of garbage and it's dead again. I don't know. They seem to dig things up out of a grave, shake it a bit, see if it wakes up. If it does, they slap it a couple times. It'll be good, and then they put it right back in the hole and dig and just put the dirt right back on it.
That's where the extreme comes in, where it's coming alive, it's dying, it's coming alive, it's dying, with every good and bad game. The medium opinion is it doesn't have to die or come back alive. It's just a medium opinion.
I think the issue right there is a question regarding franchise fatigue. I think Genesis represents a fairly common mindset when it comes to certain games, and especially ones that have like long running series. They keep plugging games in there.
Especially the ones that have Ubisoft who make them. Especially the ones.
Ubisoft takes over Sonic 3D and it's good.
Oh my!
What happens?
I can't. I will never buy it. I'll never buy it. It's not good. It's still dead. It died. It's
There's
dead.
a rumor
anyway,
this week, guys, of Ubisoft and Sonic.
So Ubisoft the next rumor is Ubisoft Splinter Cell VR is actually going to have a multiplayer mode. I'm curious to see how they're going to do this. It's still going to be a piece of garbage. Anyway, moving on to the next one.
Okay.
I
hear the Hitman VR is actually pretty good.
I've seen actually footage of that, and it's actually not bad at all. Hitman got a 9 from IGN.
Hitman's sitting at an 88 on Metacritic currently.
It only has 6 maps, though. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
I don't know. They gave it a 9, and they kept talking about how like there's so much replayability and different routes and this and that. I'm like, okay.
it does
6
seem
maps
that the
though.
Hitman franchise has always tried to be a little bit more of a quality over quantity kind of experience. However, the quality can be somewhat of a misnomer because of the fact that it is like a really more of a question of replayability. Yes, they're making their levels, their whatever the main map is going to be fairly diverse. They make it vertical. They make it filled with a lot of NPCs, a lot of things that you can interact with. But the payoff to that is really just really kind of like the manner in which you execute the kills, which is still fine. But I mean, how deep is that replayability? I don't know. I mean, that's
Deep,
maybe.
very, very deep.
I think it's a
Deep.
wading pool.
It is deep.
It's very deep, and then they also they release
is
like
very deep.
contracts, like random people that come on the same maps, and then I believe Hitman 3, you can play all of Hitman 1 and 2 as well on the new engine,
Deep.
and in VR. So, you gotta watch some Hitman stuff.
I mean,
People do some crazy stuff.
I seen some crazy stuff in Hitman. Deep.
Or don't. That's
moving
fine.
on.
All right, I got 2 more, and then I think I'm gonna call it quits after that.
Oh, sweet. See ya.
All right, cool.
Okay,
I do want to take one of your opinions though on something. This has no source, but it's just somebody just posting something here. What would you think of Battlefront 3 happening, and specifically to Giuseppe here, because I know he played a lot of Battlefront, when it was part of the PS Plus collection. What do you think about Battlefront 3 happening? Apparently, somebody's saying Battlefront 3 is going to happen. Announcement soon, and then Q4 2023 release, and game's position take a new direction, a series that will distinguish itself from the last 2 installments. I mean, this is not. It's a very vague post, but
my opinion.
Jeff Grubb tweeted about it. He believed it.
Yeah, my
okay, Jeff Grubb.
opinion on the prospect of a Battlefront 3 is, if Battlefront 3 is nothing like Battlefront 1 or 2, cool, I'm on board. If it's sharing any kind of pedigree with the mechanics, the loadout, the level design, the concept, the hero selection systems, the upgrades, if it shares anything with any of those things, then forget it. I have no interest in it. It's going to be garbage. It needs to take a good IP with decent shooting first-person mechanics and make better systems of gameplay to synergize those things together. One of the most annoying things in the world was the ability for players to jump into those giant battle maps and earn enough points to be able to load out as one of the hero characters. When you load out as a hero character, it opens up so many different gameplay design choices. Dynamic gameplay, I should say, that really makes the game so much more fun than just running around from a third-person, shooter, cover high, shooting type game. And the manner in which points are accumulated seems that there really is, like, every match, there's like a handful of people at the top who have optimal loadouts, have all the highest level perks and gear, and they get into a really quick lead in gameplay loop where they just keep on earning so many points that they're always loading out into like the best hero characters, and they basically get to play those for like entire sessions. And that doesn't make it fun for, I would say, the vast majority of everybody else that's playing each and every map. 3/4 of every player, every map, all the time, not being able to have that. I'm not saying that everybody needs to have that experience for every moment of every map, of every versus situation, but I feel like every player that loads out should have at least one chance to do so. And the Battlefront games really haven't found a good way to balance that. And I think that would be step one in reinventing the freshness of the Battlefront formula. But there's no way that they're going to be that ambitious with Battlefront 3. There's no way. It's all talk. It's gonna be another carbon copy. You'll maybe see a few little bells and whistles in terms of like improvements, maybe an expanded roster of characters that you'd be able to choose, whether it's from the grunt soldier classes that you can choose versus like individual hero characters. But it's not going to be anything special to write home about. There's no way. They don't have it in them because the company is just not interested in doing that. So no, I would love to see it, but it's not going to happen.
Okay. Good.
I'd love to see
wanted
it.
to see your opinion on that one.
Yeah, I would love to see it, but it won't happen.
I would love it to just be like simple battles, not like objective capture, just battles. Just you each got 500 lives. You're on different teams. Just fight Star Wars characters like that. There's no need to make it complicated. Loot boxes, all that crap. Keep it simple. Also, I want to see it because I just got to see what happens. Just got to see how the internet reacts.
Just another thing I wanted to touch on real quick. What do you guys think about Sony taking out all the dates from their that screenshot of their ending credits for the last CES trailer for PS5? They've actually removed a lot of the titles, and only have Horizon, Ratchet & Clank, Returnal, just those three up now in that screen cap that they originally had, which had like I think 8 or 9 titles previously that actually gave dates and years and estimates.
What do I think? Well, they probably weren't supposed to leak half of those, so people were mad. They had no right to leak a lot of those, like Stray and all that. So I'm not surprised. The other ones didn't really have dates; they had like months. So, and those were just guesses. So honestly, I don't care.
Are we supposed to take that as perhaps dates are now being altered, like release dates? Is that what we're?
You take whatever you want, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, I personally don't know what to make of it, but that's like the one thing that I thought about possibly. I don't know.
Maybe it's all moving up. It's all coming out tomorrow. We don't know.
Yeah, it could be that too. Yeah,
If that's the case, then
doesn't mean that it's a
that'd
delay.
be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty insane.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily take it as a negative per se. I mean, it could be just something very innocuous,
Every Sony video game is coming out March 8th.
There you go.
You heard it here first,
insane.
folks.
Be prepared.
That's insane.
Your spring is Sony.
Prepare.
Oh my God, we both did wow. Get out of here.
Copyright claim. Anywho.
All right, last one that I got. Then I'm gonna fall in a hole and sign off.
Fall in a hole. Again with the holes.
Capcom. So Capcom has
Shia
their
LaBeouf.
showcase coming up on January 21st, 2 days from now. And Resident Evil 8 is supposed to be doing their showcase, which apparently the entire internet's going insane about this tall vampire lady. There's a bunch of simps going after her and things like that. We're going to get canceled because of that word.
Only on Twitch.
Yeah. They're freaking out about her, but then this rumor is coming up that they're going to announce a Mega Man collection-style release for the original Resident Evil trilogy and a new Resident Evil Online game or Resident Evil Village Online mode. They're going to be doing that for the 21st, not only Resident Evil 8 and their showcase. More geared towards Giuseppe, obviously, because I know, Adam, you don't have an opinion on that.
I have an opinion on this.
Let's hear it.
I'll
go
let
ahead.
Giuseppe speak first.
No, Adam. I want to hear your opinion. I'm intrigued to know what you mean.
I'll let you know. You go. Let me.
Okay.
I have to think.
I still don't understand this concept of Resident Evil being pushed, again, further and further into generic horror classification. A tall vampire lady? What does that have to do with Resident Evil? I mean, my goodness. I don't know what the overall picture is going to ultimately be for Resident Evil 8. But, man, every little detail that keeps coming out about this game, I get less and less interested in it altogether. I'm like, I just don't understand the reasoning behind pushing it to the middle when it comes to a horror game or survival horror game. I just don't understand it. I mean, it's just essentially they're turning Resident Evil into Monster Squad, for crying out loud. I mean, why? What is that? I just don't understand. Although I love to see a new way to do like an online co-op or competitive thing with multiplayer in the Resident Evil universe. However it is they go about trying to achieve that, I'm intrigued to see what they would come up with, because what they've done in recent years have not been very good at it. Outside of, still, this may be an unpopular opinion, but I feel like the co-op in Resident Evil 5 was fantastic. And I got to tell you, I made a bunch of friends with, random anonymous PS3, users back when it was really like that system was really doing its friend system, and like connecting with people anonymously wasn't like such a creepy situation. And I made a bunch of friends that are still on my friends list today from Resident Evil 5 co-op, just jumping into random matches. And honestly, that game played awesome in co-op. It was just a fun time. Yeah, it wasn't as scary or as thrilling or as suspenseful, but it was still a fun game. But I don't know. I would love to see a successful
Jog my memory.
co-op thing. Yeah,
was the Resident Evil 5 online raid mode? Was that what it was called?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't raid mode per se, and it wasn't mercenaries. Yeah, exactly. It was versus mode, and then, but it was like obviously it started with the in-game, like actually playing the campaign co-op from start to finish, or at any point that you chose. You know what I mean? You could jump into random matches, and you can do it at that point. But the versus mode was eventually tacked on, even though that content was technically on every disc, and that was the thing that kind of like launched into that little controversy with Capcom at the time. Is like all the people were buying was just basically an unlock code from the game networks, because they had all of that information on the disc already. So that technically speaking, everybody had paid for something that they were being forced to pay for again in order to have it unlocked. So that's the thing that got people upset with, regarding microtransactions of content that they already owned and they didn't really know it. So, I mean, that is a debate for another day, but yeah, it was a versus mode where, you could either, just go PvE against, the map, just killing guys and for points, and then it eventually developed into an actual, competitive shooter, team-based, or I believe it was also like a free-for-all where, you could kill any player. I don't remember exactly though, but that was fun. Those were introducing elements to the Resident Evil franchise that had never been there before. And while I wouldn't say that they hit on all cylinders in regards to that execution, it was a heck of a lot better than other things like whatever they came out recently with that
Resistance.
The Resistance. That was real bad. And then Operation Raccoon City. Bad. Just
Umbrella
bad.
Corps.
Umbrella. Oh yeah, but real bad. So if they plan on doing something awesome, cool. I'd love to see. But I also don't understand generic horror stuff replacing what was unique Resident Evil stuff. So,
Adam.
Well, I have a theory on this. You're gonna have to stick with me on this, because as you know, I'm a big Resident Evil fan. So you guys remember, of course, you remember Resident Evil Revelations 2, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of that game, Alex transfers her conscience into Natalia, Alex Wesker. So I think it's Natalia grown up, come back. Alex Wesker is going to be the vampire lady. That's just a guess.
Okay.
That's just, she was a scientist. I think they can't do viruses because what's going on. You know what I mean? Seems kind of insensitive. So they got vampires now, and that's really what my opinion is, and what it's always been.
They done Twilighted Resident Evil.
Listen,
Yeah.
the fact that you read that as last thing for Resident Evil Revelations.
I've always thought that. That's always been an idea in my head. If I'm not mistaken, she also popped up as a villain in like one of the other games. I forget which one. It's not important, you know. For
Yeah.
Umbrella, you know. But that's just me. I'm not the biggest Resident Evil fan. Some would say I haven't seen all of the movies, but like I know some.
Okay. Well, that's it for my segment. Anybody want to carry on with their segment? I need another book, by the way, because I don't know what happened to my book.
Well, you had dropped it.
Open up
and
your
then it
inventory.
evaporated.
Oh,
Yep.
it evaporated. Oh, what an idiot! I'll get you another book.
Yeah, get him a
It
book.
evaporated. Things happen like that sometimes.
It's time for my segment, ladies and gentlemen, and
Time to do.
it's going to be all about Metroidvania.
Time to Darude Sandstorm. What the heck
It's
was
going to
it?
be that, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, no, can't copyright claim. Anyway, yeah, Metroidvania. I've had it on the mind in terms of like what I've been working on, personally / professionally, but also, for enjoyment. Bloodstained, but I've been a fan of that genre of game for a while, and so I've had it on the brain for a little bit. So I would like to present a neat little quiz, and hopefully for you, those of you at home, if you have any familiarity with Metroidvania, and you'd like to chime in, see if you can I don't know, do a little well on these questions, and we'll see where we're at, and there will be multiple point opportunities on some of these questions that follow up. I'll let you know when and where they are applicable, but so here we go. Are you gentlemen ready for question 1 of the Metroidvania quiz?
I am ready.
Go ahead.
All right, question number 1. Metroidvania is a popular subgenre of video games defined by the iconic similarity of two popular IPs that would be mimicked and harkened back to for decades. But which came first, Metroid or Castlevania? Bonus point for naming the year both were initially released.
I don't know.
Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Question number 2. Who are the main antagonists of the Metroid and Castlevania franchises that keep finding ways to come back and torment the hero? You get a point for each here as well.
Oh, wait a minute. What? Hold on a minute. What the hell? I think that's what it was.
Can you repeat that?
Who are the main antagonists of the Metroid and Castlevania franchises that keep finding ways to come back and torment the hero?
How many are there?
There's one for each. There's one big bad, essentially, for each. Keeps coming back. Kind of legendary villains
Keep coming back.
in game history.
Keep coming back.
Kind of.
For more. Keep coming back for more.
Are we good?
Yeah.
All right. Question number 3. What is the first Metroidvania to incorporate RPG elements such as nonlinearity, experience levels, shops, and a day-night cycle?
All right.
Okay.
Are we ready? Okay. Question number 4. Unlike Castlevania, which is a series of games that have featured several different characters in the hero role, Who is the primary protagonist of every Metroid game? First and last name are required for full credit. Bonus point for indicating the character's profession.
Okay.
First and last name?
First and last name. Full name.
And profession.
And profession. Bonus point for profession.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Are we ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Question number 5. How many canon members of the Belmont clan are there? I'm looking for a number, and I'll give you a bonus point for each Belmont you can actually name. Again, these are canon ones, so there are a lot out there,
God.
but not all of them are considered canon.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm coming up with names.
Johnny Johnson, Richard Richardson.
Johnny
Levi
Johnson. Johnny Johnson Belmont. That's an interesting name. Bigger
Levi
buzzkill
Gordon.
than Buzz Killington.
Russell Johnson.
You got Johnson on the brain. I'm hearing this.
Weenie
Alright, I'm good.
All right.
Pomishwa.
Okay, before we get into Japanese, question number 6. Prior to the implementation of proper experience systems, what in-game element designated character progression or growth in the Metroidvania game?
Can you repeat that?
Prior to
So
the
I have time to think.
Sure. Prior to the implementation of proper experience systems, what in-game element designated character progression or growth in the Metroidvania game?
Like an item?
I can't elaborate.
Next.
Hold on.
Next.
Okay. Tell me when you're ready, and Mr. Adam.
Yeah, go ahead. That's fine.
Okay. Question number 7. Which Metroidvania boasts the largest map size to explore as of 2020?
Largest map of Castlevania. Ugh.
Next.
I don't know how you're thinking of these and typing them out so quickly.
He might just simply know the answers.
I don't think that's the case. But anyways, next?
Next one. Question number 8. What is the first Metroidvania to win a VGA or the Game Awards category? Bonus point for naming the year this happened.
Like, what? Wait, which award, though?
Any category.
Oh, just any category,
Any
just
that
Metroidvania that won
right, that
any
won
category?
any.
Okay.
Right, that won any category. Yeah.
Next.
What? Hold on.
He must know. He must know.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing on that one.
Give it a guess. All right. Question number 9. What Metroidvania sold the most copies of all time as of 2020? And we're talking copies sold as opposed to dollars cashed.
Next.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
And question number 10. In many ways, Super Metroid, released on March 19th, 1994, was the true progenitor of the contemporary Metroidvania game. How many people were on the team that created that legendary game?
Oh, they had to be tiny back then. Sure. Can you repeat question 6? That's not too much trouble.
Not at all. Prior to the implementation of experience systems, what in-game element designated character progression or growth in the Metroidvania?
Gave him a book, by the way.
Oh, why, thank you, sir.
All right, sign.
I have an extra credit, super secret bonus question. So
Oh, what's the extra credit?
I was gonna say it right now. Here, I'm gonna give it back to you.
I can't write it anymore. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Well, just at the end. After I answer, you just tell it at the end.
Okay.
Well, if you want to ask it now and then Genesis, so I can write mine in my book,
Okay.
and then
well,
Genesis can think about it and then tell it when we get to there.
Okay. So the extra credit is really less to do with Metroidvania and more to do with your powers of observation and recollection. How many times have I said Metroidvania this entire segment?
Damn, I should have kept count.
Tip, I've been keeping a running track of every time I've said it. I've been writing it marks on my paper right here.
$15.
What?
There was 10 questions. You
I'm
probably
gonna
said it
put
at least
shut up.
once or twice
Shut
extra.
up.
15.
That's good. Sign. Adam. Book title. Metroidvania. And close.
Cool. So how do I read these now again?
L2.
Okay. So how did
It's a
you
pain to go back and forth.
Oh, so
I
you
went
just...
back and forth. I literally looked at what number 1. I read the question number 1, and then I looked at both of them, and then just kind of. It's not fun or easy.
Got it. Okay. Well, let's see what I can do. All right, let's try it. All right. So, question number 1: Metroidvania is a popular subgenre of video games defined blah 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 blah. But which came first, Metroid or Castlevania? Genesis put Castlevania in 1989, 1991. You put 2 dates here?
Because I think you said give the dates of when they came out, so the second one would have been for Metroid.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is all wrong, so no point.
Oh, yeah.
That's all wrong. Let's see what Mr. Adam had to say. Metroid is correct, so that is 1 point for Adam. I see Metroid and 188 in the year 188 of our Lord.
1988.
Close, but not quite. Metroid was first. It came out on August 6th, 1986.
Oh.
And Castlevania came out September 26th of 1986. So very, very close to each other. So far, Adam has un punto. Going to question number 2. Who are the main antagonists of the Metroid and Castlevania franchises? Mr. Genesis said, Mother Brain, which is good for 1 point, / Vampire, which is...
I didn't know who was Castlevania. I have no idea who the protagonist of Castlevania was. I was like, I don't know, some vampire.
Which is incorrect. So, Mr. Genesis will get a 1 point for question number 2. And let's see what Mr. Adams says. His answers are Alucard, Dracula, Death, Mother Brain. Okay, so that's a lot of them, but I will definitely give you the 2 points. You named a lot of characters there. I'm gonna take off a half a point for multiple guesses because you.
You said name them. Bonus points. Name more.
No. This one, the question 2 was not a bonus point. 1. That was not a bonus point. It was just 1.
Wait, what was the question? You just name one?
Who are the main antagonists of the Metroid and Castlevania franchises that keep finding ways to come back and torment the hero? Perhaps I should have been more clear.
Are any of those incorrect?
No. Death is kind of like a recurring sub-boss that has no bearing on the story. He just, is there. And Alucard is not an antagonist in every game. In fact, he's probably more of a hero in most games. So I'm going to give you 1.5 points for that one. 1.5 points.
Interesting.
Yes, I'm going to give you 1.5 points for that. Okay, question number 3. What is the first Metroidvania to incorporate RPG elements? Genesis selected Bloodstained. An interesting choice, a very recent choice, but an incorrect choice. So that is unfortunately no points for question 3. Let's see what Mr. Adams said. And Mr. Adams said, let's go to the next page. There we go. And Adam is 100% correct. That is Simon's Quest, Castlevania 2. That would be released, have been released on August 28th of 1987. So yes, that's another point for Adam.
3.5 and then 1. Okay.
So far, we're all right. We're chugging along. Okay, so question number 4. Unlike Castlevania, who is the primary protagonist of every Metroid game? Genesis selected Samus Aran, which is absolutely correct. Incorrect spelling. / Bounty Hunter, also correct. So that will be 2 points for Mr. Genesis. And we shall see what Adam says. And Adam selected Samus Aran again and Bounty Hunter again. So another 2 points for Senor
5.5 to 3.
Winner.
Dinner, chicken dinner. Okay, so next question was, how many canon members of the Belmont clan are there? Genesis selected 6. Close. That's not correct, but we'll see what Adam said.
This was a shot in the dark.
Adam is selected 8, which is 100% correct. That there are 8.
No way! Oh my god! I put 7 and then deleted it, and then I was like 9, and then I was like no, and then I put 8.
There are 8, and I will read them. God! So Adam actually got 3 points on this one question.
Holy what?
Because these are the 8 canon Belmonts. They begin with Leon, Trevor, Christopher, Solio, Simon, Justy, Richter, and Julius.
Simon and Richter.
Those are the canon Belmonts.
Oh my god.
Question number 6. Prior to the implementation of Experience System, what in-game element designated character progression or growth in the Metroidvania? And Genesis selected power-ups, which I will accept as an acceptable answer. Power-ups is
I didn't get this right.
is definitely the thing, because without having certain power-up abilities, whether it be items, armor, weapons, what have you, you couldn't progress any further, and that was the only way to level up, because there was no leveling system. Let's see what Adam said. Adam said items, and items is also an acceptable answer for this.
Oh,
because, yes, items, getting certain items is also. So what I had here was gear/item acquisition is the.
So you dodged my question, and that's how I figured it out.
That is correct. That is correct. I couldn't. The only way to do anything was nothing. So.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. We're at 9.5 versus 4. There's absolutely no way that I'm going to win this at all. So you can give the answers at this point and just call it the winner to Adam.
No. We got to do it the right way. This is the right way. This is the way.
I despise both of you.
My goodness. Okay, so which Metroidvania boasts the largest map size to explore? And Genesis selected Super Metroid, which is unfortunately incorrect. We'll see what Adam said. Adam selected Symphony of the Night, which is also incorrect, unfortunately.
Oh.
The correct answer to question 7, the largest map size, is Hollow Knight, released February 24th, 2017. Is the
I thought about Hollow Knight.
Largest map size to explore. So no points on that one. Question number 8. What is the first Metroidvania to win a VGA or the Game Awards category bonus point for naming the year this happened? Genesis selected Castlevania 23, which is not a thing.
Doesn't exist.
Unfortunately.
Mine, I pulled it out. I don't even know if it's a Metroidvania game. I remember the reviews for it being Metroidvania. I remember it being highly acclaimed.
And your choice was Shadow Complex in 2007. Not Shadow Complex, very close to the year, though. The answer was Metroid Zero Mission. It actually won for Best Handheld VGA in 2004.
You gotta be joking me. I actually thought it was either Metroid Fusion or Metroid Zero Mission. God damn.
You should have put
Hey,
something.
family show.
And question number 9. What Metroidvania sold the most copies of all time as of 2020? And Genesis selected a Super Metroid. Unfortunately incorrect. I like where you're thinking, though. Going with the classics. Just not correct, though. Let's see what Adam said in question number 9. Metroid 3? Also not a thing. The correct answer is Dead Cells, having sold 3.5 million copies, followed by Ori and the Will of the Wisps, 2 million copies, Symphony of the Night, 1.27 million, and Hollow Knight, 1.25 million copies.
Wow.
Sold. So there you have it. And question number 10 is Super Metroid's initial release. How many people were on that team? Genesis selected 32 people. 32 people. Close, very close. Unfortunately, not the correct answer. We're going to go to Adam, and we'll see what he selected. Adam selected 13. Also, unfortunately, incorrect. The answer was there were 15 people on the team that created Super Metroid, a game that would set the standard.
Wait, hold on a minute.
Metroid games.
I had 32 when you said that was close. Don't give me any pity. Don't give me any pity.
I'm just trying
to
be
what?
nice. I'm just trying to be nice. And finally, the extra credit question.
Genesis. What
Genesis.
did you say for this?
Genesis, you said, how many times did I say Metroidvania during that segment, prior to the answer section? You had selected...
15?
Yes. And Adam, you wrote in your book here...
I think that was my 13. I think
that
my
was your
guess for
13.
my guess for the team was 9.
Nine.
It was still wrong.
Right. 9
Yeah.
deer forest. Interesting. Yes. The answer is 15 times. Genesis gets another point. But unfortunately, the victory for the Metroidvania quiz goes to Adam.
Yeah!
You're telling me the
I'm so
only number that I
beautiful.
got right was the amount of times that you said that? Oh my god. I
Well,
have a lot
perhaps
more
You
than I
said
actually thought.
15, and I'm a little upset you said it out loud because I was going to say 15, but then I didn't want to use 15 as well.
There you go.
What was wrong with that?
Well, you said it out loud. It's like I'm cheating on you, and I don't want to do that.
I mean, you're not cheating on me, you're cheating with me.
It's a co-op
didn't think about it that
experience. Co-op.
I win.
And that does it for my segment. Adam, take us home.
Also, Metroid 3 was Super Metroid in Japan. So it does exist. Get out of here.
Okay.
Is that what they call it in Japan?
Well, Metroid 3, it was what it was called in Japan. So,
Okay then.
I will accept
had
my
no
apology
idea
in a formal letter.
Well, you can accept your victory because you earned it.
So why not my apology?
This is what
All
I
right,
accept.
anyways, take us home. All right. Everybody get in the car because we're going to talk about games that transcend time. And why? Why do they do it? Genesis, why? Get out of the fire. Stop burning yourself. You can't die. I'm really tempted to turn on survival and kill you.
Be fun. So what games transcend time?
Yeah. What's a
Transcend
game
time?
that transcends time? Yeah.
Well, that's a little bit of a different question than just like which games are transcendent. Because like now I'm thinking about, well, which games are just gonna be in some form of existence forever. That's a different question I have to consider.
Any Mario
know,
game?
Jens.
Mario, like the original Marios, they're transcendent, I guess. No matter who picks them up,
It's
what generation they pick it up. I mean, they play them, I guess.
But every Mario game, at least, well, again, now there's many types of Mario games. I would say like the 2D side-scrolling Mario games are the progenitors, right? So all of the sequels that followed Super Mario Brothers, and again, it's different from Mario Brothers. Mario Brothers was a totally different game. So every sequel to Super Mario is beholden to the original Super Mario. So you got to say Super Mario Brothers as a transcendent game. Probably, a character and a style of game that will more than likely exist for as long as time can recognize anything from the past. I would agree with that, Super Mario.
Or do you mean like games that have come so far that their franchises still exist, like transcending time?
Nope. I mean a game that people still play, and it's been some years since it came out.
Right. Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 2.
The true Kingdom
People
Hearts
still
2.
play that?
Yeah, there's still speedruns that go on that.
Alright.
Transcendent? I mean, if you believe, well, that's an interesting pick, I'll say.
Give me a name. Give me a game then, Giuseppe. If you don't agree with Kingdom Hearts 2.
Giuseppe,
Well-
FF7.
No. I will say
The original FF7?
no. Because again, I'm thinking much more meta in terms of like the transcendent nature of games. I'm talking about
Stop it.
games that will exist forever, essentially. And I would
FF7
say
can
the
exist
next
forever.
game that I would choose for this would be Tetris. Tetris is an all-time
Tetris
forever.
is the answer.
Tetris, I mean, it's
Talking about
easy to
Tetris.
learn, it's very difficult to master, and impossible to perfect. You know what I mean? It's always challenging, but it's also fun, and it'll be forever. It'll be forever, Tetris. I'm just trying to think of different types of games, like in terms of like perhaps RPGs, perhaps shooters.
Call of Duty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but every
Call of Duty, the franchise, maybe, but not one game.
right.
I don't think.
Yeah, because when you're
Maybe
talking
Modern
about
Warfare, the first one.
it's possible, but even then, all of the Call of Duties, how even like every first-person shooter that's just a first-person shooter and not really doing anything else, is really beholden to Doom. And Doom is kind of like, I mean, it doesn't it's not, it doesn't play very well today, especially in comparison to the silky smooth frame rate of your contemporary FPS. But they're all Doom derivatives at the end of the day. You know, it's just you see the gun, and you shoot the gun, and that's the game. You know what I mean? There's nothing much to it. Nothing much more to it. I would say. I'm trying to think if I can even make the case for games that take at least that perspective and do something more. That, like, for instance, the original BioShock. I don't know if that necessarily qualifies as a transcendent game. I would say
GTA 5.
I would agree with GTA 5, but I feel like in 20 years, are people still going to be playing GTA 5?
Maybe. If they never make GTA 6 and they just keep doing GTA 5
If they ever make
PlayStation 7.
I don't know. I just don't know. I'm thinking like,
good answer.
when I think of a game that transcends time, I'd say Super Mario 64. People still play that game. So I watched a dude play that blindfolded.
Yeah, I was gonna agree with that too, because Super Mario 64 not only changed the game, it changed its own IP trajectory. It changed the ambition for games in general. It basically opened the floodgates to 3D exploration, analog stick, controllers. I mean, it changed so many things, and it is to this day still relevant and a challenge. That's a hard game. You know what I mean? That is not an easy game. Very challenging. And yeah, there's still speed runs of it and all kinds of crazy different ways to play it. Like Adam said, it's like, yeah, I would say, yeah, Mario 64. I'd agree.
So what game like that, but a modern game, would be around 20, 30 years from now?
That's a tough one.
Dark Souls.
I don't know if it would be.
That's the thing too. Yeah, I struggle to, because there are so many third-person action adventure games.
Ori could be one.
Oh no. Because this is the thing. When I think of Ori, I think of so many other games that they originated the things that Ori just does better and cleaner and sharper. I think about, obviously, all of the classic Metroidvania games, Super Metroid, Symphony of the Night, but also I think about games like Donkey Kong Country. You know what I mean? With the whole, like, the barrel traversal thing, you know what I mean? Like the way that Ori does, like, the bash move in order to project forward. Like, that's just an extension of that. I would say that Ori is an exceptional Metroidvania that stands on the shoulders of other games that established systems before it. I don't know if it's transcended, though, because it is a little bit derivative. You know what I mean? Gosh, it's really difficult to think about contemporary games, especially ones in, like, the past 10 years, even, for instance, because I feel like so many
Genesis,
of them.
Give me one.
Mist87 said, follow this URL to get 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to report you, Mist87, because you're a
Well,
bot.
hold on. Let's click that and make sure.
No, hold on. Resident Evil 2.
See, do you think
because
people
still,
after Resident Evil 2 remake came out, are people still going back to original Resident Evil 2?
No, you asked for a modern one. I'm talking about Resident Evil remake.
You're going, okay, ooh. You think people are going to be playing that in 20, 30 years?
Yep, because there's still a speedrun community for it, and like the original, people still play the original after 10, 15, after a remake. People still play the
Game
original
with
a lot.
infinite staying power.
People are asking for a remaster of that and 3, and the original one.
I mean,
Well,
I get
yeah,
where you're coming from. You're probably right. But I don't know. Do you think the original Last of Us will be around in 20, 30
No.
years? No?
Unfortunately, any of the narratives that you have will always be either evolved or superseded by whatever comes next in the franchise. So nobody's going to be playing that one when the next one is going to be coming out. They will always be relevant, but because they're always expecting something new. Things like the games we've mentioned already, they're being played, and they're being played so many years later because that's just become a staple. Like, that's something that they look at. It never. Not to say that it never evolved and had a sequel. That's not what I'm trying to say. But that was that one game that, like Super Mario 64. Yeah, Super Mario Sunshine came out afterwards. Super Mario Galaxy came out afterwards. Super Mario Odyssey came out afterwards. But 64 is the one that people say that's the original. That's the one right there.
Some people still think 64's controls are the best.
Yeah.
Or the tightest.
Yeah.
Even though that's not the case in a lot of... And especially with Odyssey, that probably plays better.
Those games are like things that like flip the script on the gaming world, I think. And that those give lasting impressions on people for different reasons. Like any of the narrative games that we play from Sony, I can recall most of them that we've played, and they all leave a lasting impression, but for a different reason. They were something that's a story being told, and it was an actually good or memorable story, or good something amazing that we played. It didn't give something revolutionary like 64 or Silent Hill or Resident Evil or Metroid or things like that did, where they each provided their own transcendent thing that they're known for going forward into the future.
So you think none of the Sony games are going to be relevant in 20, 30 years because they're all just going to be replaced by their latest iteration?
Whatever the newest thing is, yeah.
So that kind of sounds like they're not substantial.
No, I wouldn't say they're not substantial. They're substantial enough that they keep creating these new stories from them. So they keep making newer stories that have some relevance to the old ones.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
you don't have to play Mario 64 to know what happened in Mario Odyssey. But if you wanted to play God of War 7, you'd have to play God of War 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in order to understand what happened.
That's not true at all, because God of War 4, you don't have to play any of the other ones, even though it's technically a soft reboot.
I'm not talking about that. I'm literally just talking about the soft reboot. That's all. Like, going forward from there. I'm not talking about the old ones. Although, if you want to have a better understanding, you'd want to play the old ones. It helps.
I think there's a difference between considering games that transcend the medium, in terms of ones that create audiences that never existed for games and gaming in general, and ones that just elevated the genre, like they did things that you never expected before. And then there's Adam's questions, like games that will exist essentially forever because of what they were and what they did were just so unique that they'll always be relevant and people will always find some way to play them. And that's actually a much more challenging question. And it's just so easy to think about legendary games in our own personal minds that made a huge impact. Like, for instance, I would say that Mass Effect 2 was a huge impact for me as a gamer, because while I had very minimal experience with the original Mass Effect, I played Mass Effect 2 from start to finish, and I felt that everything that happened in that game, while it was all a sequel to events that began in the first, I felt everything that happened in that game was a perfectly self-contained adventure. That, yes, it was inspired by a previous game, and it alluded to a sequel even after that. But everything that happened was actually a really neat self-contained adventure that there was so much plot and character development going on there with an exceptional payoff in the game's climax that very rarely gets mimicked in any game, even today. But I don't know if I'd even agree that that game is a transcendent game, because I don't think that it's going to be relevant in 10 more years. I don't know if people are even going to remember that game existed in 10 more years from now. So I wouldn't necessarily pick that as a transcendent game. Even though
See, I would
impact.
pick Last of Us as being a transcendent game. Because I think that changed narratives.
But now
That
you're
game
talking
had
about...
a big impact.
It did have an impact, but now you're talking about transcending just the medium as opposed to transcending time.
I think people will still play it in 20 to 30 years.
That's a tough call.
I got an easy solution. Any game that Nintendo's made is going to be transcendent. Pokemon, Zelda, Metroid,
I have questions
Mario.
about that, because you maintain that the PlayStation games are better, and the Nintendo games are just the same things over and over, but they're still transcendent.
No, they are the same things over and over, but because they were the ones, again, to go back to what you mean, it's the ones that quote unquote broke the mold. Pokemon was that RPG that broke the mold. People will always remember that. Metroid's the one that broke the mold for the 2D for that 2D, exploration, going all over the map, getting your power-ups, getting the end of the boss, like that different type of game. Mario's going to be transcendent, obviously, for obvious reasons. I don't need to explain that one. Zelda was that first time of, I don't know, whatever reason that is. They all the Nintendo games just all have that one starting point originally that everybody remembers that for. The other two don't have things like that. Maybe Crash Bandicoot, maybe Metal Gear, maybe.
Well, Crash will probably be around in 20 years.
Yeah,
but it won't be the same
Because
game.
it was.
Are we counting every
I'm saying
sequel
people are
as
going
the
to
same?
play the original one, because it's
Oh.
been 20 years since the first one came out. They remastered it, and some people still probably play the first one.
Yeah, but you're saying probably. We know people play all the other old Nintendo games, from the first Mario to the first Pokemon to the first
I
Metroid.
know people play the original Crash game still. On a scale though, I don't know what the scale is. That's what I don't know. And when I talk about transcendent games, I'm not talking about. They don't have to be games that like flip the script or anything like that. It helps, but they don't have to be that. Like,
Right, yeah.
do you think any of the Halos will be transcendent?
No, not a chance. No.
Well, Halo flipped the script on first-person shooters.
Well, I don't know about flip. I think it elevated the FPS, and I think it transcended the medium. But I don't believe it's a transcended game. I don't believe it transcends time, because it's any
People
other.
still play Halo 1.
Yeah, well, any other sci-fi shooter is, if it comes out and it elevates the genre in a similar capacity, they can make anybody forget the Halo was ever a thing. I don't know. I think again, and that's not to take anything away from Halo. It deserves all the credit in the world for elevating its genre and for transcending the medium. But I don't know if it qualifies as, for your stipulation of transcending time, 20, 30 years, are people going to be still playing it? I don't think so. I just don't
I think the
so.
answer is
This
yes.
also be answered as to who has the best nostalgia value, because that's what people are still going to be playing.
That's
Nostalgia
yeah.
will always
That's
make
an
people-
element, sure.
people
That's
Yeah,
why
nostalgia.
Mario. That's why Mario's
Yeah.
a huge selection for that.
yeah.
Sure.
And the same way, though, I think whoever has the nostalgia can't live forever. Nostalgia doesn't live forever, because as you go further and further, I think nostalgia begins to wear off if you keep doing the same thing over and over. If I'm not
Yeah,
wrong.
nostalgia
If I'm wrong.
moves.
It does, yeah.
For
It
each
ebbs
generation.
and flows. Ebbs and flows,
No.
for sure.
Yeah.
I would say, I would say possibly, like, for whoever the player is, their first Final Fantasy game, whatever it is, everyone's first Final Fantasy game that they play from start to finish, they have a special connection with that kind of a game. And whatever that one is, that's potentially a transcended game for them, because that creates a very unique experience with the player. For me, the first one I played from start to finish, even though I technically started the original Final Fantasy 1, I never played that through to the end, because I just wasn't sold on that storyline. But the first one that I developed that connection with was FF2 in the States, FF4 overall, with the whole, you start on the overworld map, you get airships, you get sea ships, you get hovercraft, and then you go underground into the Earth's core, and then eventually you go up to the moon in space. I mean, like, it's crazy. It had so many iconic mega boss battles. It had a whole litany of optional boss battles, but it opened up non-linear RPG play in a way that I had never experienced before. And for me, FF4 is a transcendent game. Honestly, I played a couple hours of it last week, just because I missed some of those turn-based mechanics and those original sprites. That original sprite graphic system that they had in that game, man, the color palette was so diverse and vibrant. It was amazing what they could do with pixels back then. 16-bit era, my goodness. So I would say that for anyone out there who have have a refined taste for RPGs, specifically JRPGs, their first Final Fantasy game, whichever one it was, I believe that's a potential transcendent game for them as individuals.
Genesis, question for you. You said Nintendo games. What about the new Animal Crossing?
What about it?
Do you think that'll be a transcendent game?
I mean, Animal Crossing has been alive forever, as far as I know. People know the original Animal Crossing. People know the new Animal Crossing. I mean, they know it for what it is. I think it'll be a transcendent game come the next 10, 20 years, whatever. If there is no other Animal Crossing after this would be the Animal Crossing that people play for the next, I don't know, millennia. People will keep playing this one. I mean, I'm sure there's people who go back to the original one, right?
Yeah, no, I still own it.
I think, like Giuseppe, how he had said what his transcendent game was. And I think it's more of an opinion of what a transcendent game you would think is, because I don't think any of the Nintendo games are transcendent games for me. I don't care for any of them. They didn't leave that lasting impression on me. A transcendent game for me would be like the original Spyro. When I replayed the remake, I wanted to go back and play the originals that were on PlayStation 1. And if I still had my PS1 working, I would have probably popped that in and played it.
You think people will still be playing that in 20, 30 years, though?
No, not at all. But that's, for me, that's what it is. I don't consider Super Mario 64 as a transcendent game. That game, I mean, it was good, but it wasn't a transcendent game.
But you can't deny how much it's still here.
It's here, yeah, that's fine. But, I mean, I think it comes more down to opinion than, like, anything else. Yeah, that is a transcendent game, I guess, if you're talking about evolution-wise, like what it made in terms of the step forward for gaming. But is that the definition of a transcendent game? Is that what you're saying the definition is?
Well, that's the thing. We're getting mucked up in terms of like the definition of what my understanding, as per Adam's thing, what again he keeps using the phrase over and over. Are people going to be playing this 20, 30 years from now? Again, to suggest that the game is essentially timeless. So regardless of whenever the game came out, and regardless of what impact it had in the industry at the time, was that game special enough to be basically forever relevant, to be forever fun, again, in a timeless fashion? Again, that would be transcending time. What you're talking about, Genesis, is something more along the lines of what transcended the medium, what transcended the genre, what changed the game, what transcended the industry to force these new evolutionary steps in gaming. And that's a different question, because you're talking about bursts of greatness that caused these seismic changes for the industry moving forward. But that's all that they were. They were brief moments in time that, while their greatness has faded over time, the idea is, with enough time into the future, it's eventually going to fade to obscurity, because that's all it really was. It was great for like a time period, but it won't be forever great, because of the changes that happen afterwards would cause even greater games to follow up that will again draw people's attention, and just force them to forget where they came from. It's just kind of like the nature of evolution. Yeah.
So then, as per the first definition, Minecraft would be part of that.
I would say yes. I would agree.
I was waiting for one of you to say that, and I'm surprised it took this long.
Yeah, I would agree.
We've been in this
for 20-something weeks now.
Yeah, I would agree.
We've played it before then too.
Yeah, for a lot of months, a lot of hours, a lot of days.
It's just difficult for me because I'm thinking about this. I'm still thinking about this question in terms of the way that Genesis is thinking about it,
and
I'm trying to weed it out.
Question. That's why I asked it open-ended, because I wanted to see where you guys went with it, and then when you both started going in different directions, and honestly, I'm not hating any of your answers.
No,
I hate my own answer, because I know that the Sony games are better than every abomination Nintendo has made.
Okay, let's calm down there. That's why it was so confusing to be like, I get exactly what you're saying, but at the same time, like, do the Sony games have the staying power of Nintendo games? No, because they're intricate, they're more complicated.
Yeah.
And narratively, like,
are they making an everlasting impression on people? I would assume and suggest so, because the way that they've been taken by people, yes. Are they going to be remembered like how people remembered Super Mario 64? I don't think that's how they're going to be remembered.
The first Last of Us will be. I truly think that one is going to be like.
I think that God of War, Uncharted 2, games like that, they're all going to be remembered.
The thing is, though, people who go back and play like Uncharted 2, or even the first Last of Us, they're like, oh, the gameplay's a little outdated at this point. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting to see like what's made it this far and what hasn't.
But then how is the... I don't know. I don't understand that part.
The shooting is very slow compared to 4 and Lost Legacy.
No. Like, I'm saying, like, for Super Mario 64, that's the clunkiest controls that I've ever played with on a platformer. How is that more refined than other things moving forward?
Like it?
I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense to me, but okay.
Well, it's also part of the challenge of the game, too. The idea is that there is still a strong element of skill involved in playing Mario 64 well. It's not a game that any old person can just pick up, not having a decent amount of experience on the sticks, particularly in how that game controls, because Mario does not stop on a dime in that game. There's a little bit of a momentum situation. He needs a little bit of a burst to build up speed before he runs. And then obviously jump precision is, again, it's a little bit of a challenge in a 3D environment with analog sticks guiding your way. It's not going to be pinpoint precise, but those with the best skills on it can make those kinds of precision platform moves. So that's something else to consider. In terms of like a control scheme.
All right.
Yeah.
I feel like we could end it here because, I don't know, you guys got kind of hung up on the definitions a little bit.
Well, but it matters though. Like I said, I feel like a game like a Mass Effect 2 is as close to a perfect action RPG game that has compelling characters, an interesting narrative, and fun gameplay. But as special as that game is, I don't believe that's a transcendent game that people will be playing 20, 30 years from now. The last time I've played it was probably 2 years ago, in any capacity. So I'm already in the outward cycle out, and I love the game. But again, other new games have come along that have satiated my appetite. So, and there's a little bit of fire over on Genesis's side. Perhaps he's experimenting with smoke signals. So if that's the case, then we are definitely going to be signing off for this 25th episode of Crafting a Chat. Hopefully, all of our millions and millions of fans and subscribers have been thoroughly entertained, and we hope to continue to provide this quality live chat entertainment for you week in and week out. We want you all to be happy, be safe, use your masks, wash your hands, be nice to each other, and hopefully 2021 will continue to be a better year for us all. So, for your boys at Crafting a Chat, Adam, Genesis, your boy Giuseppe Jones, we wish you a fond farewell. Enjoy good gaming, have fun.
Crafting a Chat, guys. See you next week.
Okay, bye.
Meh.